The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, and Subaraya Productions.
Hello. It's us, the Tokucast.
It is.
With all of the maho that we really don't want to have to deal with because this is a Magic Ranger.
Fuck, what episode would this be?
78.
Got it. We remembered this.
We didn't have to look it up. You're right.
And this is only because I edited something yesterday that had our episode in it.
Yay!
Kamen Rider Wizard.
Maho!
It's been a long time coming to get to this point.
It really has. And I said I was going to wear these the whole time, and I'm already done.
Is it hurting your fingers?
It's the fact that they're so small, they have to be on my pinky, yeah.
Kamen Rider Wizard.
Yep.
This is going to be
so much potential.
We'll get to that, but this is going to be structured similar to the Forza review and a couple others we've done before it. Good, the bad,
and the
super bad.
The super bad.
However, before we get into that, one, I had to figure out exactly what Ultraman we're doing after this, because that'll be next. And we got to start where we usually do, which is at the beginning.
I don't hate this opening.
I do actually.
I like this opening a lot.
Yeah,
I don't hate it.
I think it's really, really good.
It's sung by Eternal's actor.
Oh, okay.
Because he's a singer.
But I hate this opening for one reason.
K-pasta.
It gives me false hope.
5 points.
Thank you.
These points cannot be redeemed after this episode.
I should remember what the Japanese word for hope is because they say it 9 billion
Kibo?
times each episode.
Kibo.
Kibo. Is that it?
Yeah. K-I-B-O-U.
Okay.
There is no Kibo for this show. None. Zero. Zilch.
At least I believe that.
I don't know zero Japaneses.
No, you're right. Kibo no Mahotsukai.
Yes! I didn't mean to make that a yes, but it came out that way.
Yeah.
But at least my Japanese training is going well. By the way, use Lingo Deer if you want to learn Japanese, Cantonese, Korean, and Spanish.
You already know Korean.
A little bit. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
I listen to the music more often than not, though. But anyway, back to this show. Lingo Deer is a wonderful app.
Anyway.
If we could ever get sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored.
If we could
we're
ever
not
get
sponsored, but hey, we're open to it.
Hey, Lingo Deer, if you want to sponsor
no one's going to fucking sponsor us.
Crunchyroll, if you want
never
to sponsor
say never.
us. Anyway, back to Wizard.
Censoring.
The reason why we're trying to not do it is because we really didn't want to do this show. This is the first show.
Well, speak for yourself.
Well,
I
really wanted to do this show.
We want to rip this show apart.
This is the first show that we watched.
This is the first...
live.
This is the first live Kamen Rider that we watched. I remember before you got me into Kamen Rider, I think only 3 episodes were out. And you were... Or no, I'm sorry. The trailer was out, and you were so excited because he looked fan-fucking-tastical.
And I didn't really like Forza. Still don't, but there are still things I really like about it more so now.
No, but you were so done with hearing the word friendship.
Mm-hmm.
We just replaced the word friendship with hope.
With Kibo and Mahotsukai and Zetsubo.
And plain sugar donuts.
Puree and sugar.
Let's talk about the good first.
The costumes.
The costumes.
The aesthetics
namely Wizard's costume.
The aesthetics in general of the show, except for a few, dips, I love to death. All of Wizard's costumes
are phenomenal.
The monster costumes are good.
The fighting
is fantastic.
The fight choreography is good. The action is well shot. It's well lit.
Every form of Wizard has a different fighting style that he uses very well.
Mm-hmm.
The magic effects look nice.
It's nice to see fencing again.
Yeah.
The Wanted. Nice to see Wanted again. Curving bullets.
Oh yeah, magic bullets.
Because the bullets are magic and they can home in on the target, which is cool.
The only aesthetic issue I ever had with Wizard is that gun sword is so big and bulky. It's a bit much.
I like it,
and I think
it grew on me.
Yeah,
but at first I'm just like, it looked better as a sword than it did as a gun. It looked like the gun was an afterthought.
It's because of the hand.
Yeah,
the hand makes it weirdly bulky.
Yeah,
especially because they had to fold the sword backwards.
Because it matched the belt, I liked it.
I'll give it that. Like I said, it grew on me, but first, I'm talking about first impressions.
Yeah, I get
I'm just like, wow, that's big. Especially for something that's going to be used as a fencing style sword, you wouldn't expect that big of a base.
Also, I'm having sort of the same problem with the axe caliber when you use it as a sword instead of an axe. Because
it has a giant hilt.
Yeah.
Well, see, I actually preferred it as a sword than I did as an axe.
Really?
Yeah, you know why? Because I kept going, how is he holding it as an axe? It's bladed. That was my question.
It's magic.
No, but in reality, medieval knights were able to grab the blades of their swords because of their gauntlets, so they could actually still do it like that. Thanks for teaching me that, For Honor.
But yeah, that's pretty much the best thing about this show. Oh, I also like Phoenix.
I was going to say, I like all the monster designs, too.
No, I'm just
I like some of the monster designs.
I like Phoenix as a character.
Oh, no, Phoenix as a character was great.
He was fun. He was like the best part of the show.
He was the best villain of the show.
He was.
Yeah. I didn't like any villains in the show.
I'm talking about, if I'm going specifically based off the villains that we are given in this show, by comparison, Phoenix was the best.
I'm going with the writers. I'm going with the showrunners. They are the villain. They are the true villains here.
Fair
enough.
enough.
Oh my god, it's Akiba Ranger.
Ah!
The end. But yeah, I only say Phoenix because of one reason. He was not there long enough to make me hate him.
That's a valid point.
I don't know about that.
That's a valid point. And also, he got the best way to kill somebody.
They carsed him. From part 2 of JoJo.
Yeah.
Into the sun.
Well,
yeah.
Cars went into space.
And then he stopped thinking. Phoenix went into the sun.
The problem,
and then died forever.
So, the aesthetics were great. I love the concept they had of phantoms and hope, and people create the monsters.
Yes, the monsters are created from within the people, born within despair that comes from losing something precious to them.
When you make that as a concept, you could go into such a deep character dive, especially since Wizard got his powers from conquering that.
Yes, because he there was a cataclysmic event known as the Sabbath. If you've seen Full Metal Alchemist, it may seem a little familiar to you.
We will get to that.
We will get to that. We'll go more into that later. But
fuck.
But he the despair came out. It turned the people into phantoms. The phantoms are the monsters for this show. He conquered his own powers, and that's what gave him his magic.
Also, he gets a motherfucking dragon, which is always cool.
Because the dragon is his phantom.
However, this does end up leading us into the bad section.
What plot?
Hold on. That is Haruto's story.
Yep.
He does not get anything else.
No.
Soccer.
I'm about to say, he likes soccer.
He likes soccer. Well, a lot of people are keen to point out, and if you love Wizard, that's great. I'm glad you do.
Yeah, somebody
has to.
Some people have pointed out in our comments before in other videos where we've talked about it. This show is about him getting over his survivor's guilt. I understand.
Don't see that.
I understand why you're saying that, but between the three of us, I don't see that at all. Because he's never brought in focus in the show.
Yep.
This gets more into Terabad for me than actual bad.
It's just the fact that the entirety of his story happens before the show starts.
Before the show starts, so we only glimpse it in flashbacks, and they never fully delve into it at all.
So they don't have anywhere to go with him.
No.
And here's the
thing, they have places to go with him. There's a lot you could do with a character dealing with survivor's guilt and trying to prevent the event that gave him his powers from happening again.
Yeah.
Even if it,
this could have been amazing.
There's so much you could do with that.
But I think...
And they just don't.
I think one of the problems with Wizard, and this is a problem for every Kamen Rider that has something like this, including Gaim, because Gaim, while it was darker and Ryuki was darker, you could feel like it could go even more. You know what I'm saying? You feel like it could have gone more, and I think it's because of the audience that this show is presented to, children. If this was in a Garo-level audience, Wizard could have been one of the best goddamn Kamen Riders on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
You're probably right. I would agree with that.
But that's the problem when you try to do these deeper things. Are the kids gonna get it? Well, you have to find that happy balance. And I'm not saying that to defend Wizard, sort of, but someone's got to at this table.
I don't think the problem is that the kids wouldn't get it. I think they would if you presented it to them in a way they could understand.
I think some of them would. I think some of them won't.
You don't necessarily have to dumb it down,
which is definitely ends up being a problem for a lot of these types of shows.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to end up saying
the same thing.
Simplified,
it would be.
We're going to end up saying the same thing for Ghost later, but at the same time, you had to remember that Ryuki and Gaim, pretty much all the Kamen Riders end up having more or less the same age range that they end up focusing towards.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty, bar forward.
You talking about the demographic?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like they end up going to either one extreme or the other. They end up not going all the way like they could. Wizard is one of those ones that ends up going to the lesser of these extremes.
It tried to play it safe too often.
It did, and that ended up screwing it over.
I don't think it's that it tried to play it safe. It's just that it told its story the completely wrong way.
It's
more for execution than I think it is.
No, I may not be explaining. I think what they tried to say, what I'm saying is that they tried to tell their story in a safer way, which was the absolute wrong way to do it. And with this kind of concept and this kind of setup,
I can see where he's coming from.
You have this.
I understand where you're coming from, but I disagree.
That's fair, and that's how disagreements happen. Throwing shade. Anyway, but Wizard is still amazingly choreographed. It's still amazingly designed.
It is a good show to look at.
It is a great show to watch on mute with no subtitles.
But aesthetics can literally only go but so far.
Yeah, and this one doesn't go far.
Beauty is only skin deep.
I feel like the bad category is not going to end up quantifying everything the way that we want to.
Mm-hmm.
So let's skip. Well, no, because there is one thing.
I have a couple things to talk about that I didn't like, but I didn't necessarily despise.
Go on.
So bad.
Okay.
I'll go first on this one because mine's just short. Rinko, the police woman.
I really like this character.
I liked her a lot when she actually had something to do.
Which wasn't often, unfortunately.
Which was really up to the end of Phoenix's
We need
story.
to do how we would fix Wizard.
Well, we will. It's on the list.
Can we do it now, actually? No, we're talking about it.
We'll do it later.
Yeah. No, right now, in the review. Anyway.
But yeah, it's just like Rinko...
Oh, we can't combine videos.
Rinko...
Oh, what happened to our backlog?
Rinko did not do anything after Phoenix's storyline ended.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's pretty much exactly where her storyline ended. I think she did a little bit of stuff.
Shunpei's storyline should have started 70% sooner.
His storyline ended literally the third episode is where it ended.
Well, no, but he gets another storyline at the end that should have started right after.
He doesn't get a storyline. He gets something,
annoying.
No, he gets the writers give him something to do.
That's
not a storyline.
He becomes the apprentice.
He doesn't become the apprentice. He says he's going to become the apprentice.
But that doesn't happen.
No.
But what I'm saying is if that had happened like 4 episodes after his arc ended, he would have been a much better fucking character.
Or if it had happened at the end of his arc.
I was giving him a latest.
And then as soon as that happened, you immediately give him something to do so he has a reason to stick around. And not just run up to other characters and say, "Oh, come on, we gotta get out of here. There's a monster."
Or Shinpui.
That's only in his arc that he does that. Those second and third episodes that he does that.
He's the worst character in the show. He's the actual worst character in the show because he's just so damn annoying.
He is very annoying,
pointless, and useless, and why?
Pretty much half of this.
But that's bad. We need to go to bad.
What's your bad points? Because everything else I have.
There were some, and I know and I have a feeling I know exactly why this happened. If you're gonna give, it's essentially the opposite of the Kiva effect, whereas we get a super powerful form and we see it twice.
Oh,
All Dragon.
All Dragon. That's CGI and budget.
That's CGI and budget problems, but then don't give us All Dragon.
How many times did we see Hurricane Dragon?
Not like you.
I think like once.
I think we saw at least...
We saw it a couple times.
I think we saw it more than All Dragon.
We did. We saw everything more than All Dragon.
Yeah. And the amount of different versions of All Dragon we get.
Which is cool.
Gold All Dragon, Infinity Dragon.
Oh, you mean the ones from the movies?
Yeah.
Those are just different forms altogether.
The All Red All Dragon that he got before he got All Dragon.
That's called Special Rush.
That's Stupid Rush. Anyway.
Stupid Rush. It's stupid.
It is very stupid. And the thing is, it's just like they gave him so many forms.
Do you remember how excited we were when Fire Dragon got announced, or like we saw the preview for Ruby Dragon or whatever it's called? Fire Dragon with the trench coat cape thing, and he's got 2 swords, and you and I were losing our shit
because it's so
it's so pretty.
We get so distracted by the pretty.
It's so pretty.
We get so distracted by.
That's why we keep them on here.
But
that and this gravity ring was awesome.
That's the one that he has used with Land Dragon.
Yeah.
But it's like we get so distracted by the pretty, But
he's great to play as in Batroid Wars.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to play as in Batroid Wars.
after the first one.
He was okay.
No, the first one he was trash because his moves were all the same, no matter what.
Oh yeah,
He was trash.
It might have been because his show was still going on.
It could be, but
Because they didn't have like access to his full arsenal yet. I guess.
think it was actually in Genesis where it's just like we're going to go ahead and just give you the most that he can do. He was so much more fun playing.
He is a lot more fun than Genesis. That's true.
I might borrow Genesis.
But yeah, it's just
You're
like
more than willing to from both of us.
But it's just like outside of aesthetics, there is nothing going on. Do you have anything else for the bad?
I'm trying to think.
No.
All
Terror.
right, moving on.
Everything else.
Terabed, aka everything else.
What was the point of... Hold on, real quick and bad. What was the point of the donut stand? What was the point?
The point was
To give us the poetry in that movie?
Haruto liked plain sugar donuts. That was the point.
Is so boring.
Metaphorical
Oh yeah. It's basically just a metaphor for the entire show.
in his character.
It's like it's not even pretty to look at though.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go to Terabad.
Because they're playing and they give you diabetes.
Begin. Jacob, you want to start off?
Oh, God. I don't even know where to start. I'm serious, I don't know where to start because there's so much to rip apart, but...
How we didn't talk about other characters. We really can't talk about the
owner?
No, the main female lead, the doll.
No, she's in Terabad.
She's in, well, that's not really.
That's
no, she's in Terabad.
She's in Terabad, but it's not her fault.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of, because
she had conflicts.
I blame the showrunners for that. They should have cast somebody who didn't have so many scheduling conflicts.
Fair enough.
Because
should we talk about the Full Metal Alchemist more?
No, we're gonna talk about that at the end because that's basically the end of the show.
Yeah.
I want to talk about I want to talk about Koyomi first.
Okay.
Because she's like my biggest problem.
Okay.
She's a great actress.
She's fine.
She's okay, yeah.
But she's not there. And the story focuses on her, especially at the end. With her not being there, the story can't move forward. Nope. That's why the rest of this show is the way that it is. We get so many victims, monsters, people we don't care about, that this show ends up becoming extremely bland
all Victim of the Week
and boring. This show is a Showa era show in an era that does not make that applicable anymore. You cannot do this type of show in modern writing.
And it's all two-parters.
Except for one or two, except for like the first episode and maybe like one other towards the end. It's all two-parters.
You can literally
watch
Victim
of the Week.
You could pretty much watch.
It's also a long show.
Every other episode for a while.
This show's 52 episodes.
The last two, though, aren't bad.
The last two, though, aren't part of the story. It's replaced.
It still counts as like it's still like listed as officially part of the show.
Oh yeah,
yeah, but they weren't. Also, they weren't terrible.
But still, it's 52 episodes. It feels so long because it takes forever for it to get anywhere. Goodness gracious!
It's just like there's nothing for this show to, and the fact that you end up having this show focus so much on this character who is not there, it makes your show a legitimate chore to watch. Mm-hmm. People say, and like it's like you said, it's fine if you like this show, but you cannot say that it's not one of the worst writers out there because it really is.
I mean, you can say that if you like the show.
It's
there
just
are people who like it.
It's just so bland and a chore to watch, and Koyomi is at the middle of that. The fact that
I don't think she's the one at the middle of this.
I think she is.
I think it's more of a sum of its parts problem.
Yeah,
it's not just her. Her not being. I will 100% concede. If she's going to be this important, especially at the end game, and she's not going to be able to be there, or you're just going to write around her not being there, you should have gone with somebody else.
Shift the focus.
Or shift the focus, which essentially they did, but they focused it to Victims of the Week. One thing I hate about this show, these are like the pettiest monsters ever.
And I love petty.
I know you do.
I love being petty. But
every single episode, the Japanese have this particular method of storytelling where rather than focus on telling a compelling narrative with characters we care about, they're more concerned with making you feel emotions. I've noticed this recently, and you may feel completely differently, that's fine, this is just my opinion. But I feel like they're so concerned with making you feel things that they forget that they're supposed to be telling a story, that they're supposed to have actual characters in this story. And I notice this a lot with stories involving depression and despair especially. It is, this character is sad. You, the audience, need to feel sad because of this. It reaches out and grabs you by the collar and just doesn't let go. And to me, especially as somebody who suffers from depression, and you have this platform to... Your entire show, like despair, depression, this is a huge part of this show. It's how the monsters get made. This is such a chance for you to explore how depression could be a literal monster for people. And you're so concerned with making us go, feel sad, feel happy, look at this, it's cool, that they completely forget they're supposed to be telling us a story.
Even with the sister.
And that really, really bothered me.
The whole thing with Medusa and her sister at the end of the story becoming one of the mages. The mages are also a problem because they just don't matter.
And look awful.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That whole thing, I didn't completely get what the point was.
For the mages in the Medusa story?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was honestly, I feel like they had ran out of ideas for Victims of the Week. Or they realized, oh shit, we've written 27,000 Victims of the Week stories for this one series. We need to do something different.
Let's try to get somebody to come back. Hey, Todoroki, would you come in and be the green one in this show?
Hello?
Okay, thanks. We'll see you again in about 5 years for Zio.
All right. But it's so...
If I could get back to...
Also to tie in the movie. Dumb.
The movie's still fine. It's like the best thing of the show. But still...
Yeah, I didn't really like it that much. But getting back to what I said about the villains, the monsters being like really petty. It seems like, once again, like you have this opportunity to explore how depression can create monsters. And it's like, imagine, Marcus, if you like made a batch of cookies... Mm-hmm. And I walked in, I knocked the cookies over and said, now, give in to despair and become a phantom.
No, I just stab you.
You could just stab me, or you could be like, yeah, well, that's annoying. I could just make another batch.
Pretty much.
It's like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You must give in to despair and become a phantom. Well, no, I'm already making another batch. Well, I'm going to pour salt in your cookies. Now give in to despair and become a phantom.
It's like a kindergarten.
And then you just stab me, and then
we move on with it.
And then we roll credits and move on with our freaking lives. Goodness gracious, that's every episode. The stuff that the people are sad about is like...
It doesn't matter. It's nothing new.
I understand everyone has their own stories. What can seem trivial to somebody else can mean the world to somebody else. So make us understand why it means the world to them. You don't do a very good job of that.
Really enough, I think they did a better job of that in the Wizard arc in Zio. I really think they did a much better job of telling... the reason why he became another wizard. It just worked better there. Mm. Another Terabad thing. Let's talk about Nito. Beast.
Oh, goodness.
Where to start?
Well, because...
First of all, love the concept. I love the concept of Wizard being all inanimate things or elements, and he's all living things.
Yeah.
And I love that. I don't mind the Matador outfit per se. I don't mind that he gets an actual rapier. Sorry.
The mantles.
Yeah. An actual rapier and the dice thing where it has the possibility of being one and then he overcomes that. But his character. I also love the part where Wizard can use his rings, but he can't use Wizard's rings because it's funny. But his character is so... God damn irritating.
Yep.
And idiotic. Doesn't he also have to kill monsters to live?
It's kind of like a Ryuki thing where that's how he replenishes his magic.
Okay. That's right. That's how he gets his mana back.
The weirdest thing about this is flipped Forze.
Yeah. It kind of is. Because Haruto is the
stoic
one.
Like Ryusei was.
And it feels like they were really overcompensating.
It's reversed Forze, but then we get the fucking birth syndrome where I can really only take care of the minions and I can't fight an actual monster to save my life.
Beast is so extremely underpowered. Even after he gets the
hyper.
No,
after he gets the meteor storm.
So, okay, I gotta check what it's actually called.
It's called Hyper.
No, it's called Hyper.
Hyper.
I had it right.
But
He's just being an asshole.
But I didn't hear you.
No.
Sorry.
No, it's 70s biker meteor storm because of the frills.
He
The
does
tassels.
have the Rocket Man frills
that are actual weapons, apparently.
Yeah.
which honestly I love.
I'm okay with that.
But it's so stupid.
It's so you couldn't have picked
of all the
different
things,
color scheme.
Of all the things you picking a different color scheme, but of all the things you could have used as weapons, tassels.
I think it works for him.
Okay.
I think it fits him to a
It
T.
just works for XA better because it's his dreadlocks. But it's like for the rest of it, Beast doesn't really do much for the rest of the show.
No, and again, it's another
Also,
situation where
mayonnaise.
the character
Fuck.
shows up and
He's
like really powerful when he shows up. Because that's another bad thing about the show is inconsistent power levels, not just with Beast but with Wizard as well.
You mean bitch syndrome? Can we talk about this?
That's another way to put it, because there are moments where Wizard is able to just walk through minions in one of his base forms, but then he'll be split up into his dragon forms using the copy ring, and he can barely kill one.
Thing.
Yeah,
and he can barely kill one minion.
Dragon Timer.
I think it's argued that when he does that, he's cutting his power level into fourths.
But it still doesn't matter.
Yeah, but
by
They
that
are
point, he's a lot
minions.
stronger.
If he can walk through them in his base form, he should be able to do it in a depowered dragon
And the
form.
only reason they do that is because, like we said before, this show is two-parters.
It's
all
contriving a reason for the monster to get away. You're contriving a reason for the victim to run away. You're contriving a reason to just extend this longer than it needs to be.
especially since you just have as soon as you introduce All Dragon, you're like, okay, why is there any effort ever? All Dragon done. Move
Because
the fuck
CGI
on.
is expensive.
Yeah, but Nizo himself is just like, you don't do anything until the end of the show.
Nope. And
Even though it's probably one of the most important things to do in this show. He eats all of the mana so everything doesn't explode.
Yeah.
But you really had no build up to that point until you decided to release Chimera.
Mm-hmm.
And then before that, it's just like, wow. White Wizard.
Who?
So Fuiki. A.K.A. White Wizard, A.K.A. Wiseman.
A.K.A.
Which
Father.
is yet another concept they completely botched. The idea of the main villain also being, like, playing both sides. I like that.
I was also going to say A.K.A. Father from Full Metal Alchemist, but done worse.
Dwarf in the Flask had so much more on this guy, and he sucks.
First of all, I appreciate you calling him that. Thank you for your knowledge.
You're very welcome. I watched Brotherhood a couple months ago for the first time. I really liked it.
Good. But god damn, if I'm ever going to use CinemaSins as a reference, discount Dwarf in the Flask. Diet Dwarf, just fucking Christ.
No sugar.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bland character who doesn't do anything for most of the show, and then he's just like, "I'll be the final villain now." And then Gremlin's like, "I'll be the final villain now."
Gremlin was like, "The fuck you will."
If you remember how Father from Full Metal Alchemist had a motivation that made sense, how he wanted to become like God, he wanted to become this all-powerful being, and we knew what he was going to do to get it. You remember how what's the name of the country that he?
Xerxes or something like that.
I forget the name. Correct me in the comments, please, because I don't remember. The first country that he destroyed to give
where Hohenheim came from.
Yeah, where Hohenheim came from. That's how he got his first form. We really don't understand why he's doing... Because the Sabbath is basically that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. We have the Philosopher's Stone because it's alchemy, and I guess the Philosopher's Stone just has to be there by some kind of...
contrived.
I guess it's part of the Sokovia Accords. I don't know. But so there's the Sabbath. That's how he created the Phantoms. Why did he create the Phantoms? Something Philosopher's Stone. Something Resurrection. Something Dark Side. Something
Koyomi.
It was Xerxes.
It was Xerxes. Thank you.
Quick Google. Yeah, that was the country.
It's like his motivation. He wants to control the world, but he also wants to get his daughter back. But controlling the world, though, and then it's like, oh, I can use my daughter as a battery.
But my daughter is not human.
But my daughter's not human because she died a couple years ago of an unknown illness, and that's what drove me into my despair, and that's how I did all my research, and that's why I did the Sabbath, and that's how Wizard was created, and then I gave him the rings for some reason. And then I guess I decided from there, I'll go ahead and do my plan.
My plan is wonderful. Your plan is shit. I don't like the... It's like this character, even though he was there from the beginning, he didn't matter enough. Even as the Carbuncle one, and then even as White Wizard, it's just like, I don't care enough about you or your character to do anything about you. However, let's end up going for the opposite.
Like, I'm looking at the wiki entry for him, and there's like nothing concrete as to what exactly it is he wanted to do. I'm serious. Also, looking at the wiki for this, like the main page, I was trying to pull up pages for characters for reference. This thing is so confusing to look at because it's like Magician Riders TV show, movie exclusive, stage show exclusive, blah blah blah. Allies. I'm trying to pull up a page for Koyomi. Apparently, she was Kamen Rider Wiseman in a movie, so that's where they have her listed. So
it was the Wizard Guy movie.
Yeah, that's just
bad.
It has nothing to do with the show itself, but it's just another minor annoyance.
Going to another character that just annoys the hell out of all of us, Gremlin.
Okay.
Sora Takigawa.
Okay, Gremlin. I loved the idea of him, a phantom that used to be a serial killer. That is, on paper, fantastic.
Yeah.
However, execution.
You wanted to make another goddamn Bosco and Enter. And don't even look at me like you're trying to say you didn't, because we were making those comparisons the moment he walked on screen.
Or Envy. Even.
You wanted to make another happy, charismatic villain.
Yeah.
But
I love the idea of him being a serial killer. I honestly
like the idea that he retained his personality because that's a very rare thing to happen among phantoms.
Because it's such a powerful personality.
It's a powerful personality because of how evil he is.
It's pretty much saying what happens when you take someone who's already evil and put them in despair and make them more evil. So this concept, fantastic. Execution. What were you smoking?
What were you smoking? Because him being a serial killer, like you said, it's a cool idea, but it feels like a twist just for the sake of having a twist.
It feels like middle of his career M. Night Shyamalan.
It does.
This is like Lady in the Water and Shyamalan.
Yeah. This entire show. That twist is kind of more like The Village.
Because
I didn't mind The Village.
It legitimately...
Overall, yes, but the idea of... I'm talking about just the concept of the twist.
It legitimately
I didn't mind that either.
Came from left field, and it did not feel natural.
No, it didn't. What they should have done, because I don't mind him being the final villain, because we had a shitty one already. I don't mind him being a serial killer. But once again, twists are greater and better when you go back and you see the clues you missed the first time.
Yeah, indeed.
That's why everybody loves Sixth Sense so much. Because if you go back,
We've made this comparison many times when talking about this show.
But it makes so much more goddamn sense that he's dead. Spoiler alert.
Spoilers for a 20-year-old movie.
Anyway, but it makes so much more goddamn sense. But there was no clue other than he's quirky.
Now, a lot of people in our comment sections have brought up the point that serial killers don't act like serial killers in the real world.
Correct.
There is a mask that they wear. But
this is a television show.
When you are writing a television show and you want to reveal something like this, especially in a show like this, it's a good... You don't have to, outright show him killing somebody, but maybe...
The occasional evil smirk.
Have an evil smirk. Have him, follow a woman with black hair and have him, smile as he's following her.
And then, the beginning of the next episode, you show on the TV missing persons.
Missing persons, and...
It's just the fact...
Give us little breadcrumbs.
There's no indication...
That can conceivably lead to a trail. Just don't take a stale loaf of French bread and smack us in the face with it and say, here, I made croutons.
So yeah, we understand that serial killers do not act like serial killers. But again, we are getting a more omnipotent or omniscient point of view where we can see what they're like when they're alone.
We're missing a sense of dramatic irony.
And when a twist like that, either the dramatic irony is perfect, or you want to go back and watch it again and be able to see, with your dramatic irony, see that missing person on the TV that was in the background that he was staring at a little extra long in that one episode. Just things like that. Maybe because he used to be a stylist, right?
He was a hairdresser, yeah.
So yeah, maybe he gets a pair of scissors and he holds onto them a little too long.
He Sweeney Todd's it.
Yeah. So maybe he has this pair of styling scissors and he just holds on and smiles a little too long. It's uncomfortable. Just give us something.
Start singing "My Friends."
Oh god, that'd be great.
You are the worst wizard in Tokyo.
What else is there to talk about for the Terabad part?
There's the ending.
Oh yeah, the ending is strong.
The ending.
We're talking about episodes 50, not 51 and 52.
Yeah, where hey, Gremlin's the main bad guy now. The Philosopher's Stone becomes the Hope Ring because we get a ring that we pull from the Ass Dimension.
Oh, like we did for Christmas?
It's Koyomi's last hope.
It's Koyomi's last hope. Oh, goodness.
It's still not as bad as the Santa Claus ring.
It's a great episode. I pretty much brushed those off.
Well, that is implying that Santa Claus is real in this world, and I'm okay with that.
That's fair.
I'm okay
I remember, I think it was halfway into the first episode, I looked at you with a straight face and asked, why does the belt keep saying please? And you remember what your answer was to me?
No.
Because please is the magic word.
Oh, yeah.
And I just went, fuck.
Please and thank you, they're the magic words.
But yeah, it's like, have we talked about Haruto outside of his nothing?
Soccer.
Yeah.
What is there to talk about?
What
is there to talk about?
Nothing.
Yeah, thank you. Really plain sugar. Moving on.
I think that the Shuni Shiraishi is the actor who plays him.
He did a great job for what he was given.
He was given such a disservice with this role because I think he's a pretty good actor.
The thing about this is, after
also his civilian costumes are great. We never mentioned that.
After this show is done,
he's a stylish dresser.
Like him in the Ghost X-Aid movie is the greatest thing about that. I fucking love Haruto.
I need to watch the Ghost X-Aid.
Yeah, it's so good. That's a great movie.
That's the one with Evil Pac-Man, right?
Yeah,
yes. That's a great movie. But Haruto's in this movie, he's hilarious. He's so charismatic.
Haruto is always best outside of his show.
Ghost is always best outside of
the movies. He's great. His appearance in the Forze movie, he was great. Because he was cocky, he
had that charisma.
He was charismatic. He was quick-witted.
I think Shuni Shiraishi is a charismatic actor, but the problem is they just give him nothing to do.
No,
he
was given
his talents are completely wasted on
He's basically Jodie Whittaker in some of the episodes of the last season.
Oh my god, Doc, don't even give me... Anyway.
I'll just take your word for it. I don't watch Doctor Who.
Because when you're given the taste of him, and he goes, I'm the man who will befriend... And he's told, I'm the man who will befriend all Kamen Riders. And he goes, what's a Kamen Rider? And he goes, oh, I like that. I'm Kamen Rider Wizard then. You can't just do that. Well, I just did.
He can, because he did.
Where's that guy? Where's the guy who took...
In the trash.
Yeah.
In another movie, apparently.
And then the roles were reversed. He got to say the Kamen Rider, this is what a Kamen Rider is, and then Guy picks it up. But in a much more heroic way as opposed to, I'm just an asshole about it. Which, I do like that two-parter. At the very end.
That we should have put that in the good category.
We'll jump back to the good now. That two-parter
is fun.
Is fun.
The Kamen Rider rings are great.
It's a fun little team-up.
The Kamen Rider rings are great. I think people use this short as proof that O's final form is Super Tatoba.
It's the weird thing, but Toei has said after the fact that it's
Pito Tirana.
And you want to know what else is great?
The part where he summons Decade, but it's actually Decade.
Because to deal with it.
Because they have these...
And he just had these sunglasses.
It's the bad guy who has the rings, right? That summon the other Kamen Riders?
Yeah, at one point, yeah.
Yeah, so he summons these riders, and Wizard is fighting them. They all disappear at the end of the scene, except for Decade, who then unhenshins to reveal it was Decade all along.
No, and it was a different scene.
Right.
Because I think it was Decade in Defies that they call it. Was either Decade Defies or Decade W. And then Decade is just like, oh, so this is the world of Wizard. And it just turns out to be Decade. Because
it's just Decade. Actually Decade.
Doesn't he just de-henching with sunglasses on because he's
that's where deal with it.
I'm sitting here like, this is what I knew that Decade was just amazing. Because
then we get our introduction to Gaim, which was great. Cannot wait for that review.
Oh yeah, that's coming up then. Oh, that's a whole month. That might actually end up being the entire month of September.
Month.
If it's not in August, probably in August.
But
God.
Wizard.
I freaking love those 2 episodes. But
watch the first episode and then watch episode 51 and 52. That's all you gotta
watch nothing else because this show is a chore to get through, in our opinion.
Yes.
Or if you want to really watch it, watch episode 1, 3, 5,
Skip
7.
an episode every single time.
Yeah. Because even if it's not a 2-parter, you're still going to get a last time on Kamen Rider Wizard.
Yes, and then you get the summary for everything that you missed.
So yeah, you really just have to watch every other episode.
Now, of course, we do end up having people who have said things about Wizard.
Oh, fuck.
Well, Sam Adam, one thing I can say about Wizard is that its style and the multicolored flavors to boot. Suits were amazing, the effects were flashy, the music was outstanding, and honestly the Kamen Rider girls made their mark with Wizard's music. I also watched Wizard live since I came into Kamen Rider after Superhero Tyson, so Wizard has a bit of a special place in my heart, but most of Wizard's highlights are fairly superficial. The story stagnates throughout the series, I feel like I know very little about any of the main characters, and the victim of every 2 weeks has just become torturous. I honestly can't remember 40% of what happened during it. I wouldn't say I disliked Wizard, but there are many areas that need major improvement. P.S. Thanks to Kamen Rider Batrider Board Genesis for giving Wizard the biggest buff ever.
For FB Fulton 90, I don't even think I finished the first episode of Wizard. For what I remember, it sets itself up fairly well. As the first episode, I think it does okay, but it's been a minute since I've even watched that one. Perhaps I will live through the torture with the Tokucast to watch it all in time for the next review. Oh, I'm sorry.
but
Sterling Glover posted a very long one. Thank you for all your thoughts.
We're not going to read all of it.
I'm going to shorten it up a little. I won't deny the show has problems, including the MOW abuse, Koyomi's actor severely dragging throughout the plot's progress. Shunpei, Kosuke, his powers are okay too. More of a small thing. Phoenix's defeat, it was really flashy, but god damn it, Haruto, you've left him to incubate in the sun for hundreds of years, too long to become the ultimate being. That's something I thought about myself. It's fine if it's a fine show if you aren't super focused on the plot and are okay with a lot of episodes. It's tolerable, certainly better than stuff that happens in shows like Blade, Kiva, and Ghost.
Ooh. Blade at the beginning.
Can we ask, before we continue, one thing I forgot to put in the good column. One of the best rider kicks ever with a giant dragon claw.
I was talking. That's the one that happens when he goes inside a person.
Yeah, but
that sounds dirty, but it's how it happens.
Yeah, he has some of the best rider kicks.
Mm-hmm.
I like his regular one.
One more comment to read. I am Skull Kid. Wizard is a show that didn't use its motif of the best that it could have and was just poorly written. I like the designs of the monsters and the suits, save for the mages, and it has a couple of good points, but other than that, it was just boring and a disappointment. And
Matthew Brignac, his is really short. Wizard was completely boring. I didn't like any other characters other than the fight scenes, and the opening was good.
Pretty much everything we've said.
Pretty much.
But, Kamen Rider Wizard, it's really pretty to look at. Get a poster of it. Look, it looks fantastic.
I was going to say, here's a good poster.
I fucking love his final form.
Infinity.
I like the idea.
Okay.
But not Infinity Gold Dragon?
No. Because because from a concept standpoint, we were doing gems the entire time. So he gets diamond. And I love the first time a guy tries to hit him in this form.
His sword breaks.
Because diamond's the hardest mineral on Earth. And then they forget that part for like the rest of the show. Also, I love the part where he goes, high touch, and he gets the giant fucking axe, which is great. And then that one monster who like really pissed him off, high touch, and he just let it go.
And it just kind of floats around, hits the monster a bunch of times, and he finishes by doing a pose, and it slashes him down.
I like fucking Excalibur, even with the dumbest name. Remember the first time we saw the poster and it was like that tall? And we
because he was holding the
toy
version of it.
And we were like, that's
awful. For next time, instead of doing an alternate because we have to decide which one we want to do, it's probably going to be Max the next time we do it. Let's do a fun thing so we can actually finally do this and not have to suffer through it.
Yay!
We're going to do Kanpai Senshi After V. If you haven't seen it, Go and watch it. It's probably one of the greatest shows I've ever seen.
Sure, let's go with that.
It's so much fun.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, don't forget to join us on all the things. Patreon, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Have you been updating that?
Sure.
All right.
What would I take a picture of? I check it every now and then, like people's posts.
Patreon. And we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.